Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Casual Sports Podcast. As always, I'm Alek, Koberna. That's Matt Morrison there in the middle, and Mike Wolfgang. Now we'll flip him back around, put Matt in the corner as always. Mike, center show here today. You got the one forward cap, so it's balanced. Two backwards, one forward.
Yeah. There we go.
Move over.
That's one way to do it.
Me? Oh, I didn't know. Okay, whatever.
Well, welcome in once again, wrapping up another week here of the Casual Sports Podcast, guys. We're 20 weeks into it here on YSN, but an even bigger milestone we're about to hit tomorrow, actually, on January 29th. It is officially the 2-year anniversary of the Casual Sports Report being founded, and, just a great ride we've had so far, finally getting picked up earlier this year by a major sports network, your sports network, and, it's been fun so far, guys. Great ride, and hope it don't go anywhere soon.
Oh, hopefully not. We'll be here. We'll be here forever. We'll be doing this when we're 50.
Yeah, no one can stop us from talking sports. It's just a matter of where we're doing it, right?
I mean, we do it outside the show too. Talk sports. That's what we do.
Yeah, we do.
That's what we love doing.
Just how it be.
It's like we do the show all day, every day, because we send stuff on Instagram. And
we're constantly rolling through sports stuff to go into. It's crazy how much stuff. It's almost crazy how much sports stuff comes out every day.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain days where, there's like a little bit of a struggle to fill an hour. There's other days you need like a 5-hour show to put this stuff together because there's so much. I mean, if we were to go over every single thing that's happening, oh my God, we would be here forever.
I mean, that's what we used to do for this hour. We used to do it for 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours.
3 hours.
We did 2.5, 3 hours once a week. So, now we're doing 5 hours a week. So put that into perspective, guys. We've expanded.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
All right. Well, I guess let's move into what happened for me last night. I got to once again see the Lady Leopards of Liberty in one of the best games of the season, bar none. Garfield and Liberty, first place of the MVAC, getting tossed around. Garfield almost eliminated now because they took a loss in this game to Liberty. Despite an 18-point comeback, they lose by 4 down at the very end of it. Demi Watson quiet all night long. She's been on a really down streak as of late, but she came in clutch at the end, getting some important steals and free throws and sinking them both. This was a fantastic game. If nobody has gotten the chance to see this Liberty team yet, you can watch them tonight. I'll talk about that game here in just a minute. It's an early one, so you won't have to wait around too long either. But Liberty last night, Sienna Smith was given the green light once again. Coach Watson says she always has it. To me, Sienna has to give herself the green light in her own mind, because when she wants that thing, she gets it. And last night, she put up 20 points in this game. She was dominant. She was physical, aggressive at all times. And then Aaliyah Foster, pretty much quiet the first 3 quarters, turned things on in the end to help propel Liberty into the win. Liberty took the lead in that first quarter. They never gave it back. They pulled away going into the third quarter, first half of it. They make a huge run. It's an 18-point deficit for Garfield, and the G-men start storming back, led by Jenna Smith. And get this one, Sarah Seaman also came in here and put up 17 points. She was matching Sienna Smith triple for triple. Going back the other way, Sienna dropped 2 threes. 2 minutes later, here comes Sarah knocking down a couple of her own. I mean, fantastic outing from her. Jenna Smith, the big center for this G-Men squad. She was her physical dominant self. She also had 17 points. And this G-Men team, they're a very dangerous squad. I mean, they're definitely one to watch out for come playoff time out of this region. I definitely think they're a team that can make a nice run because they were very talented, and as you see it, they stuck it to Liberty twice so far in the season. I mean, that's 2 of their, 3-4 losses now on the season is to this Liberty team. So, I mean, it's been a fantastic year, but, I mean, great things on the line right now for Liberty because they haven't won the league championship in the MVAC in 12 to 13 years. I was talking to Coach Watson. She was like, I don't really know. I think it was 12, 13 years ago, the last time this team won the league championship. They've made it to the playoffs. They were in the district finals in 2019, but they haven't been able to claim that MVAC title in a while. The boys team doesn't even have a banner up since 2005. And right now, both teams are in the region of potentially making another run into the postseason as MVAC champions.
Yeah, I mean, like all of you just said right there is just like wow, like Liberty's going off just that one loss to Brookfield, which I mean we can all admit that there's some stuff that went on in that game. We won't go into that too much, Alek. I know you and I know, but that game is gonna come down to the end like that. Yeah, be quiet. We can't call them.
There you go.
But hopefully we can see that rematch again, and referees, they just need to let these girls play. Honestly,
yeah, I think sometimes
just let them play.
Get a little too involved, but
referees shouldn't be involved like they were in that game. That's the way I should put it right there. They shouldn't have been involved.
They got a little too hands-on there at the end, and it felt like neither team could really do anything because the refs were going, "Hey, I want to be a part of this one too. It's fun." And obviously it is fun, but the refs aren't supposed to be a part of the game, and they were in that one.
No,
they weren't last night in this game with the G-men. There were a few calls that neither team really liked, but it was pretty even in that remark. And Liberty, since that Brookfield game, has done a phenomenal job cutting out fouls. Matt, you saw it. That team was 10 fouls deep in the first half? I think they were 2 fouls deep at halftime against the G-men, and they did that last time too in their last game against Bristol.
Anybody foul out?
Nobody fouled out. Nobody was in foul trouble. I think Demi got up to 3 fouls, but that didn't come until 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. This team has very much cleaned up that part of the game, and it was something they really needed to, because that was what was hurting them the most, was their best players were getting in foul trouble, and then they had to rely on some really good players, but not Sienna Smith and Demi Watson, who are two undeniable superstars who will probably be playing at the next level if they want to, because right now, Sienna is just a junior. Demi's a junior. And Aaliyah Foster, the girl who's been dominating the second half of the season, is just a sophomore. So, I mean, this team's got another year or two of this. And they're only going to graduate, I think it's 3 seniors off this roster here. And Maya Cole, who gets a little bit of playing time. Gianna Michelin and Tiana Weatherly, who are both come off the bench in efficient roles. Tiana's been having a great stretch as of late. She had 4 in this one, 10 in the last. So her points are coming in a little bit more. And then Jordan Banks, one of their starters, who's great defensively. So they're going to have to find a way to fill that hole next season. But, I mean, this team is pretty much bringing back all of their main scorers besides Banks.
Yeah, Banks is I really think she's a significant role in this Liberty team. So
her defense, to poke that ball away and give a great outlet pass. Yeah, she's quiet, man. But her impact is undeniable on that team.
Yeah, but about those quiet players, they're dangerous, because sooner or later they're gonna just snap off. Like, watch her have a huge run when they get into the playoffs. Just watch her. Watch her pull off 20 points.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's gonna have one of those games that's just like it, in my opinion, it's Jordan Banks, the sophomore Maya Parker, or Tiana Weatherly. Those are the 3 girls. If I have besides the main 3. That is going to go off big in a playoff game out of nowhere, it's one of those 3. I mean, they're so talented, but I think their role is a little bit different than what it could be on pretty much anywhere else because of the big 3 they have already.
Yeah.
But how about I go into what I got tonight? Tonight, 5:30, this first of a doubleheader on YSNLive.com. I'll be bringing it to you from Liberty High School. Game 1, Liberty Leopards back in action, this girl squad. Their game from Monday got moved to today, going on before the varsity game tonight. They're going up against the 4-11 Newton Falls. I don't think this will be a very close matchup. Last time it was 73-29. So with the way this Liberty team has gotten back in the scoring column recently, and their defense is playing better, they're limiting fouls, I think Liberty is in for another big night. I think maybe the only thing is, are they gassed from last night? Because it was a close game, and I think that'll be the one part of why Newton Falls could stick around in this game, is just that Liberty is probably a little bit tired from last night. I'm interested to see how the minutes are affected in terms of what the big 3 players are doing. Because, Matt, you saw this Liberty squad. They don't really make a lot of substitutions. That big 3 will sit out for 30 seconds, one at a time if they need to. But they're not out very long. They're a very great conditioned school. But I wonder how this
very much so.
Nights. Yeah, I wonder how this back-to-back
that is the best conditioned school I've seen.
Yeah, it's insane how if you watched the game last night, you saw every stoppage of play. Garfield was bringing in 2 or 3 new people every single time, trying to keep the rotation fresh to keep up with Liberty. And they did a great job doing it, but I think it just got down to the end and they had to have their best players in for an extended period of time for the comeback, and they ran out of gas. Yeah. I mean, you saw it, Matt, firsthand. Your Brookfield team, again, going against the boys squad, they just ran out of gas after a huge comeback. It is so hard to go 100% against this team nonstop. They're just so talented, so athletic. It's insane. But Newton Falls in this one, they're 4-11, 0-9 in conference play. It's not a great season. They're on a 4-game losing streak, and their last win came back against Lakeview. It was a 41-36 game. This team scoring around 35, 40 points a game. It's going to be very hard for them to keep up with that Liberty scoring. So they're going to have to bring some intensity on defense. And I don't know if they have that. They've only been allowing 44 points per game, but I don't know how really you can compare that to what this offense of Liberty can do, because you saw it. The only team that really pulled away and blew out this Newton Falls team was Liberty. Everyone else has been, under 50 points with the exception of 3 teams in there. So really, Liberty already shown earlier in the season that they could run away from this team. And I hope Newton Falls has a different game plan, because it feels like after that loss to Brookfield, Liberty lit a fire under them, just like they were hoping it would. And this team is going off to the races. Newton Falls could pull a huge upset tonight if they can get it, though.
Yes, and Newton Falls. You got to keep an eye on them as well. But Liberty just seems to be on the train. They're on the money train, and it's not stopping.
It just feels like destiny at this point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just something about it when you sit down to watch this team. You feel like you're watching college ball going against high school. You feel a talent gap in. The only thing that could really improve this team is if they had somebody 6 foot that could compete a little bit more in the rebounding department, because that is where they can get beat in rebounding. I talked to Coach Watson before every game. The game plan hasn't changed. They want to play strong defense and they want to rebound. She has confidence the offense is going to do its job, and she wants to get things done on the other end. She wants second chance points if they don't get a bucket in. And right now, they had great rebounding last night, but I definitely think they still need to work on that. And if they can really get any better going into next season, they got to hope for a little bit of a growth spurt out of one of these sophomores or juniors to get just another couple inches and, get a little bit more wingspan. If they can do that, I don't know how anyone's touching them next season. I mean, I don't know how anyone's touching them this year.
Mike's sitting there in the middle like, man, these guys are just going off. Like, I've seen this Liberty team. I've seen the boys and the girls.
Oh, I've heard about it.
I've only seen them once, and I'm like this expression on my face the whole time, like, where'd he come from? Where did he come from?
And speaking of the boys, I also got them tonight as well. They're taking on Newton Falls as well, who are 6-5. Liberty boys, they're 10-4, running a 3-game winning streak right now. They are back in 3rd place right now of the MVAC conference. So, they're in a little bit of a middle zone, kind of waiting to see what shuffles out ahead of them. But they're definitely a squad at the moment you have to look at. In terms of they can very easily win this conference. They have LeBray and Memorial above them, and obviously Campbell has been phenomenal. But
have you seen Campbell yet this year?
One game back. No, I have not gotten to see Campbell yet.
You're going to, though, right?
I
think Campbell comes to Liberty.
No, Campbell already came to Liberty. Campbell won on the road 61-59 against this squad earlier. That's the only loss this team took in MVAC play so far. The rematch set for February 8th in Memorial. I don't know where I'll be for that game, if I'm going there or not, but it should definitely be another good one. But, you look at this team, and really their only loss in the recent weeks has been Memorial and Struthers, 2 very strong basketball teams by a combined 3 points or 4 points. So this Liberty team, as much as I've been, loving this girls squad this year, they have really put together a phenomenal season as well. I mean, I talked about it yesterday, the renaissance of basketball in Liberty High School. And, tonight they should be in for another good one. Newton Falls, once again, they're kind of having a mix-up of a year. 6-5, so still a winning record. You can't hate on that. 3-2 in conference play. It's definitely a game that they can compete in and potentially win tonight. But, I just think with the strength of this Liberty team, 4 more points, and we're looking at a 12-2 team for this Liberty squad, whose only losses would be to Harding and Archbishop Hoban. And Archbishop is one of the greatest basketball schools in the state of Ohio. So, can't really count 2 terrible losses when Warren G has also been a pretty good squad pretty much every year, right? So, right now, this Liberty team, they're going to have a great night tonight. Across the board, I'm expecting great games out of both of them, especially offensively. Both these teams can score. So the one thing going into tonight, I heard rumors last night while I was at the school calling the game last night that one of their seniors may not be available for tonight's action, Rashad Chambers. I don't know what happened. I just heard as I was leaving the building, a couple of the students talking, Rashad Chambers may not be available. He is their 4th leading scorer, averaging 7 points per game. So potentially something to watch out for. A team down one of their starters. You never know how that could impact the chemistry.
No, you don't. I saw this Chambers kid the other night. The kid was rebounding and stealing the whole game. Yeah. But they still have their other 2 main guys. James Davis is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. James Davis, probably one of the best players I've seen. And then Venters, DeAndre Venters is a great player too. And I like a couple of their guys coming off the bench too. Silas Robinson, that guy can play. They have some players. They have some guys that can run. So minus one guy I don't think is going to bother this team too much. The only other team that I have seen the other team that I have seen that can run and run and run without substituting teams or substituting members is Campbell.
And you saw it. That was the 61-59 game that Campbell won earlier this season. So clearly those 2 teams are about here and here because no one has been able to keep it close to Campbell besides Liberty.
They're right there. Unbelievable.
All right, well, we'll move out of the high school stuff here, get into the main event of the weekend, of course, the NFL Conference Championship weekend, starting things off here with the 3 p.m. game on Sunday. The number 4 Cincinnati Bengals of the Buckeye State going up against the number 2 Kansas City Chiefs, the team that everyone has pretty much flipped on in the last couple of weeks. And now everyone's rooting Bengals to win this game. Nobody wants the Chiefs to go. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this situation building outside of it, but it has to deal with the family members now of Patrick Mahomes. His wife was spraying champagne on the crowd in 20-degree weather after their win last week, and people are very annoyed with her. His brother Jackson Mahomes, and these 2 may have single-handedly flipped the entire nation against the Chiefs in the matter of a season.
I've been against it.
Last year everyone was loving the Chiefs. This team was awesome to watch, And I know Matt doesn't like them. He doesn't like mobile quarterbacks. He likes old.
Matt doesn't like good teams.
Hey, I like Josh Allen. He's a mobile quarterback.
Okay, I'll give you one.
He doesn't like good teams, Alek.
6'4".
Look, I can't stand Jackson Mahomes. I like the other mobile quarterbacks. Okay?
Yeah? What, Kyler? Yeah.
I like Kyler Murray.
You hate Lamar Jackson, though.
He doesn't like good teams. He doesn't like
Mahomes.
He doesn't like Chiefs. He doesn't like the Capitals and hockey. He just doesn't like good teams.
Yeah.
I like that. No.
But no, I just think it's very interesting. You've seen the nation kind of flip around on this Chiefs team. It was really focused on social media because I don't think anybody really would have seen the situation this past weekend with Mahomes' wife spraying champagne on it if she hadn't posted it everywhere on Instagram and stuff. And I just find it very interesting. I'm excited to see kind of how the reaction goes if the Bengals can pull off this win. We have a potential
right now. They did it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we have a potential right now to have either 2 4 seeds in the championship or a 4 and a 6 seed in the championship for the Super Bowl. So, that is insane to talk about right now. That when you go back to week 1, all the favorites won, and now we got 3 Cinderellas dancing in the conference championships.
All the favorites won except the Cowboys.
Yeah, besides the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You guys found the perfect way to choke it, huh? The only favorite you can't count on.
Only way the Cowboys
Sanders
can do it.
to the Cowboys, everybody. Dion.
Maybe. Although I heard rumors yesterday while watching, I think it was NFL Network doing a show that Jerry Jones and Sean Payton are very close friends, and everyone was saying McCarthy's probably got one more season with the Cowboys, and it's not a matter of if Sean Payton goes to the Cowboys, just when. So, a huge potential coaching change here in the next year or so for your team, Mike. How would you feel about Sean Payton coming to your squad, though?
Obviously, I'd love it, but do I think it's going to happen? I'm not sold because we see in when he was in New Orleans how he pretty much did everything there. And I mean, is Jerry going to finally say, hey, I need to get a guy that can, I'll let him do whatever he wants to do. I'll let him control everything with the team. I'll back away. I've been waiting for that to happen since I've been following this team, and it hasn't happened. So would I love it? Yeah, but is it going to happen? Maybe, maybe not. But I mean, obviously, I love it. Yeah, of course.
They'll still choke.
I'd like Dion too. I'd take Dion over Mike McCarthy.
I don't know if Dion's leaving Jacksonville State. He's
got the number one recruit. Do you think he's going to leave?
He's one of the top classes in the nation. I think he sticks it there another year or so.
Same thing with people talking about Fickle leaving. Like, Sanders is not going to leave.
Not yet. I mean, I almost got a feeling Deion Sanders is waiting for Nick Saban to retire. I mean, you've seen the way he's recruiting right now. Doesn't that remind you of somebody? Nick Saban. I mean, he's becoming almost a carbon copy in the recruiting area to Nick Saban with the talent he's bringing in there. I got a feeling Alabama is going to have him on a short list when Nick Saban finally.
I'm just saying it seems like I'm not saying Deion's leaving. I'm not saying Luke Fickell was going to leave. I'm just saying this is all that matters right here is money. They can have all the recruits they want. If somebody throws a crap ton of money at them, especially to coach the NFL, that's what they look for.
Depending, but college coaches have been making a good chunk of money too. So they're making more in some schools. So it's definitely a matter of who could pay the most. But back into here to the NFL conference championship weekend. Patrick Mahomes has averaged 33.2 points per game as a starter in the playoffs. That is the most in NFL history. So this team, no stranger to scoring when it comes to the playoffs. But, I mean, the Bengals have already beat them once this year. They're looking for a second win against this team. It was 34-31. So, I think maybe the one thing we can expect a close game out of these two teams, especially with the way Joey B's been playing. I mean, he's been off the mark. And can we all just say at this point, we want a field goal to win it? Because I want Evan McPherson all over the head.
That needs to go.
How about a field goal winner from him to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
Epic.
Oh, yeah. If he wins
the division round
3 games
conference championship,
he's going to put his name up next to Vinatieri already.
Yeah. But you talk about when they played last time, though. I mean, obviously it was a shootout. In this game, you expect the Chiefs to score at least 27, 28, maybe 4 touchdowns this game. They're at home. That's just what they do. And you expect probably the Bengals to do the same thing because that's the strength of their team is their offense. We talked about their skill group. It's one of the best in the league. And, I feel like the Bengals coming into this game, they're ahead of schedule right now. Nobody expected them to be in the conference championship this early because the last couple of years they stunk. And they come out this year and they just turn things around and they're making a run here. So, if they win, I feel like if they lose, obviously you want to win it. But if they lose, it's just like we got there. Hopefully we'll be back because they right now on paper they have the talent to get back here. But obviously, they're playing in a hard environment, but I feel like Joe Burrow's he's already come out and say this, hey, I played in the SEC. I've been in tough environments. Not to downplay Kansas City because
he said that the SEC stadiums were louder than any NFL stadium.
They are. I mean, when you put 20,000 more people into it, it's going to be louder.
When college stadiums hold 100,000 people,
college is bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're putting in 20,000 students. So it's not just, your 80,000 fans. You got 20,000 students then you add on who are always allowed as part of a stadium that you just don't get in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, when you have 100,000 seat stadiums in college and you go down to like 60, 70-ish in the pros, it's obviously, yeah. But I feel like he's not taking a shot at Kansas City. He's just saying, like, I've been in tough environments. I have an idea somewhat of how to deal with it. So that's just the confidence of Joe Burrow, and it's rubbing off. It's been rubbing off on this whole team, whole run they've been on.
I mean, they're phenomenal, but on the other side for the Chiefs, I think we have to give them the credit too. They have scored 42 points in both of their playoff games this season. Obviously, the one in overtime. They joined the 1990 Bills as the only team to score 40-plus points in back-to-back playoff games. That Buffalo Bills squad put up 44 in the divisional against the Dolphins, 51 to 3 in the AFC Championship
the Raiders
against the Raiders, then lost to the Giants 19-20 in the Super Bowl, a 1-point loss there. So, I think maybe if you see the Chiefs put up 42 again, go big. I think it's a collapse in the Super Bowl is on their way. You saw them collapse the last time they made it to the Super Bowl. I mean, they've shown some struggles there before, so I don't think they're a shoo-in at this moment to be the Super Bowl favorite, despite being the top seed right now in the playoff.
Yeah. You saw with the Chiefs. Even the year they won it, they weren't really that great. They just had a run at the end, and San Fran kind of gave it to them.
They went up against San Fran, yeah.
Yeah.
San Fran was up by 10. They were winning by 10 in the fourth and lost.
And then Jimmy Garoppolo overthrew his man every time.
Can't hit a guy.
Yeah. This is his redemption year. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's mad. He has
one playoff loss in his entire career when starting, and it was in the Super Bowl. He's 5-1.
They want to replace. I'm going to go up just a little bit. They want to replace him with a guy who only started 17 games playing YSU and teams like that. Okay, no shade at North Dakota State, but all the recruits they're Alabama of the FCS.
They're Alabama playing against the FCS, and that's the problem there too.
That's the problem. That's why they win all those championships. Everybody, and then that's why they get all those top recruits.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing FCS football with FBS recruits.
Yeah.
I know, a little bit off.
I'm not sold on him. You want to get rid of that
How about we move back to the game here that we're actually talking about, because we're already halfway through the show and we haven't made a prediction just yet.
Sorry,
when you guys are looking at this game, Bengals are 2-0 in conference championship games. So, I mean, maybe you see that one part, but I mean, I think these teams are just so even, and I think it comes down to the defense, because I think when it comes to the Bengals offense, it's not even about applying pressure to Joe Burrow. That's not going to win you a game, because we just saw what happens when you apply pressure. You're going to sack him, and he's still going to put up 400 yards on you. It doesn't matter how much you get to Joe Burrow. It'll help, sure, but it's not going to win you a football game. He got sacked 9 times, a playoff record for a winning quarterback, and it did not matter. To me, we just have to play better coverage. And what do we know about the Chiefs this season? The secondary has been lacking a little bit. The front 6, front 7, they've been fine. I mean, obviously they're playing with some very great players, and that's undeniable. But the secondary definitely has shown a little bit of a struggle this year. And you saw what a good offense in Buffalo did just last week against this team. They probably should have won that game if they had better clock management skills. Buffalo should have. I think we're in for something similar. I got a feeling this is going to be an offensive shootout game. We'd probably have another overtime coming, but I'm not picking against my state. I'm taking Cincinnati. Everyone calling it Kentucky. Screw you. They're in the borders. It's Ohio. They're taking home.
It's Ohio. I just like to listen, it's Ohio. Everybody knows it's Ohio. I just like to give you crap. That's all. I know it's Ohio, but it's literally that close. You cross the river and you're in Kentucky, but
they're closer to Kentucky than they are to any other city in Ohio. Yeah. So I mean, granted, Toledo's closer, to any other city in Michigan or Indiana than they are to anything else in Ohio. We still call them Ohio. Nobody really talks about Toledo because what's there to talk about?
But, they don't have a baseball team or anything, so they got their churches.
Well, they got the Mud Hens.
Yeah, but
Toledo has the Mud Hens minor league.
Yeah, but they don't have NFL or Major League Baseball like Cincinnati.
Yeah, there's pretty much nothing going on.
That's why Cincinnati's a big target.
They got some good college programs though. You got to give Toledo some credit there for college.
Holy Toledo!
All right, guys. I took the Bengals. Who do you guys got?
You know who I'm going for, and it's not with Mahomes. I'm going Joe Burrow, man. I'm going the Bengals too. I think that, they can sack him as much as he wants. He's still going to put up points against them. He's going to tear this defense apart. Melvin Ingram, who thinks he's resurgent or whatever, he was washed with Pittsburgh and he's still washed now. Okay? He still is. He still is. I don't care what anybody says. I'm sick of his crap. And I'm on a better team this year. Yeah. Well, you just wait and see, buddy. Wait till you play that tough AFC North team that just kicked your butt 2 weeks ago. They didn't kick their butt, but they still beat them.
They won by 3.
They won by 3, but they still
Malik,
beat
I
them.
got him.
They still beat them.
Mike?
Yeah.
Matt.
And I think it's coming down to him. Kick a 60-yard field goal. Man, he'll make
Mike,
it.
why don't you go here? I'll just mute him.
Matt, when Alek asked you who you got in this game, you said you knew who I'm going for. Are you picking who you're going for or who you think's going to win?
I'm going for,
See, you can't even answer it.
You know who I'm going for?
Who you're going for and who you think is going to win.
It's not Mahomes. It's not Mahomes I'm going for.
You're not answering the question. Are you picking who you're going for or who you think is going to win?
Oh, that's who I think is going to win.
Okay.
I just put it in that phrase. I just put it in that phrase.
They're going to win.
Why do you got to get technical?
I'm just asking because at the beginning you said you knew who I'm going for. You didn't really say you really thought they were actually going to win. I just had to get that out of it.
I actually think they're going to win this game.
I'm going for the Bengals. I'll answer this. That's why I asked. I'm going for the Bengals, but do I think they're going to win? I'm not because until somebody. How do you think the Chiefs are going to lose at home after what just happened last week? Not to say it can't happen, but I got to ride with that. I got to ride with that.
Matt's going to be trying to stay with the Chiefs.
They didn't win the game. They won the coin toss.
Matt, they won the game. Everybody knew it was over when they scored 13 seconds left. Everybody in America knew it was over.
Oh yeah, I sat there.
So, Mike, who are you taking officially here?
I'm taking the Chiefs.
The Bengals.
I want the Bengals to win, but I don't.
Matt, no one's asking you. We know you're taking the Bengals already. You're done.
I thought you asked.
He's like Stephen A. He just won't let anybody else go.
Go, Mike. Go. Who are you taking?
That's all I said. I'm picking the Chiefs for the 10th time. I'm picking the Chiefs.
Right. Say it for the 11th time then.
No. Moving on to the next game at 6:30 from SoFi Stadium, home of this year's Super Bowl. The Rams have a chance to become just the second team ever to host the Super Bowl at their own stadium. The Buccaneers did it last year and they won it. So, the Rams trying to go back-to-back on that stat. But San Fran, they've won 6 straight games versus the Rams. You saw with Aaron Rodgers, he can't beat them. The Rams can't beat them. Are we really going to just go out here? And to me, you look at things straight up and you go, oh, Rams, this should be a runaway. But San Francisco should have been run over 3 times already. They have no business.
You can't pick against them now.
But they just keep winning. They keep finding ways. That defense is just so strong.
It is. Your boys leading the way there, Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
I like their defense. I like what they've done. They had to win the last game to win to get into the playoff. They're like the last.
Can we just point this out though? That if they win this game, it might be one of the best playoff stretches in playoff history. Yeah. Beating the Cowboys in the divisional.
That's not hard to do.
In the wild card, beating the Packers in the divisional, and then beating an extremely high-rated Rams in the conference championship, and then either going up against the Chiefs or the Bengals in the championship game. Can we just talk about how great that playoff run would be? You're going up against 3 of the top teams in the NFL history-wise. You look at just the record that were set this year by the Rams, and, with the elite level status they have, one of the best pass rushers in Aaron Donald, one of the best quarterbacks in Matt Stafford, one of the best wide receivers in Cooper Kupp, and bringing in a star in Odell. This team could potentially be on just one of the best runs of all time.
Yeah, they could. They could be, yeah. We'll see.
Alek, like you said,
I don't know.
Exclude the first round because it's not hard to beat Dallas in the playoffs. A lot of teams do it.
Come on now.
At the end of the day, they still had to go beat a phenomenal squad. Mike,
I know
your team is, they're a choking hazard. They're not
exactly
ready for, anybody because they're always going to choke. But at the same time, you still have to go beat them. They're still a high level team.
I hear you.
They just fall apart at the very end.
I'm just saying it's Dallas in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I'm right there with you.
They still do it. You're right. They still do.
I was sending you meme after meme after they were, losing in that game about them choking. It was great.
I said it before.
You guys all picked them though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Because San Francisco shouldn't be here. I just said that.
San Francisco. Yeah, but no, when they're chokers, it's just like I should have been the only one picking them because I'm a fan of them. You guys all know the chokers, so you guys
I thought
also
bringing in an experienced head coach like McCarthy would have maybe helped rather than, Jason Garrett, but apparently not.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's
So
just
how about
saying.
we go to this game about the two teams that haven't choked so far in the Rams and the 49ers. This 49ers team, as much as I say they shouldn't be here, they still have the seventh best offense in the NFL, the third best defense. This team was quietly putting together a phenomenal year, and I just don't know how because, say what you will about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I've certainly said a lot about him and how I don't like him, and I
Me
don't
too.
think he's a quarterback. But by golly, he finds a way to win every game. I don't understand it because his numbers aren't great. He's not flashy. The one thing he maybe has is just game management. He's a fantastic game manager, and because I don't think he's that great of a quarterback, but he's a phenomenal field manager. Everybody just falls behind him. When this guy says jump, they're all doing it before they even have to ask how high because they just want to follow this guy. And I don't get it, but for some reason, this guy is an elite level quarterback. He's got one of the highest winning percentages of a quarterback in the NFL history when he's actually available. He does not lose. When he's been available to play for a whole season, they have made it to the playoffs and have played great.
I don't know. That's part of the. I don't know why
every time
people
they
give him a
make the
bad rap.
playoffs, they make a run. Every time they're in the playoffs, it seems like they go most of the way. I don't think I've seen him lose too many times in the playoffs. Maybe that when they played
5-1. I was just saying that.
Yeah.
He's 5-1 in the playoffs.
But I'm just talking about in general. I'm just talking about the Niners in general. The only time I think I've seen him lost was against the Legion of Boom Seahawks. I think that's one of the few times. I don't know. But they're always there. Every time they get in, they make a run.
But there's always that debate, though, Alek. I see a guy he'll get you there, but is he gonna get you over the hump? It's happened once and it hasn't.
Bottom line is here.
More of it.
Bottom line is here. If Garoppolo leads them to a Super Bowl victory, that's their franchise quarterback. Like, are you going to get away? You're going to get rid of the guy.
Well, then what do you do with Trey Lance?
I don't know. They shouldn't have drafted him in the first place.
Trade him.
What?
At the end of the day,
he's
you're
not
making
good.
a business decision. It's a business. Yeah, that one's going to hurt cap space a little bit potentially, or whatever happens. But send him somewhere else because there's a lot of teams willing to give up stuff right now for a quarterback because we don't have a good draft class this year. The draft class for quarterbacks is about as thin as it's ever been. So I think there's a lot of people willing to take a guy like Trey Lance as a backup quarter, as maybe a backup for an older player. I mean, if Tom Brady returns, I don't see any reason not to bring in a guy like Trey Lance as their backup, or any situation across the league. You could use a solid backup like Trey Lance. I mean, he's shown a couple times that he definitely has some ability. We don't really know the full extent of that yet, but I mean, he's definitely a superstar ceiling. He has the potential to be a superstar. Whether he gets there will depend on situations and coaching and development. But he definitely has shown that he has some potential. It's just a matter if he gets there. So I think you trade Trey Lance if Jimmy G can get there. But I guess this leads us to making the pick here. Are you guys taking the Rams or are you taking the 49ers? Matt, you go first.
Oh, man, you always got to make me go first. But, I mean,
I like making you suffer.
I know. I really like what Matthew Stafford has done this year with the Rams. I really like that. That's probably the only reason I'm kind of hanging around with the Rams. Like, hey, it's Matthew Stafford. Like he spent his whole career in crappy Detroit, and now he's one win away from the Super Bowl. That's a lot to go on right there. I like seeing that. I like him, doing what he's doing. But, I mean, the rest of the team I couldn't care less about. I mean, I like Cooper Kupp too, but, like, beyond that, can't stand Jalen Ramsey, can't stand, Odell Beckham. I think I speak for Alek there too. But, I mean, how can you not go against the Niners right now? They were a 6 seed, right, Alek? They were a 6 seed in the playoffs. And the only other 6 seed team that I've seen that has made a huge run like this in the playoffs is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were a 6 seed in the playoffs. First year. Yeah, first year, went all the way to the Super Bowl and won. They beat I think one of the teams they beat was the Peyton Manning led Colts. So they had a tough way to get through, and so is the Rams. That a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is Aaron Rodgers' year. Aaron Rodgers is going to win the Super Bowl and stuff like that." They shut him down. They shut him down. Okay, and I know you talk about the Cowboys, like, they always choke and all that. But they were still there, and they still had to play them. They were still made the playoffs, and they were still a quality team because they made the playoffs. and the Niners to beat them, that's just amazing what they did. So I don't think I can go against them right now. I got to
So
go
you're going
Niners.
49ers?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
rolling with it.
Mike?
I actually got to go with Matt. I feel like the way they've been playing physical, running the ball, getting the ball to their playmakers, I feel it's going to continue. Now, I don't know if it's going to work as much because they're going up against an elite defense with the Rams, especially with 3 pass rushers they have. It's you saw it in that Tampa Bay game. It's just frustrating. But I feel like the 49ers they're prepared for that. They can out physical some teams. They've done it to the first 2 teams they played in this tournament. So I feel like it's going to continue. I really do. And I feel like their offense is going to do just enough to, edge them out.
All right. Well, I guess that leaves me. Just 2 6 seeds have ever won the Super Bowl. The Steelers were the first to do it in 2005. Then 5 years later, Aaron Rodgers and the 2010 Green Bay Packers did it. Both went on to have that be their franchise quarterback. And you got a chance now for Jimmy G to cement himself as their franchise guy. I mean, 2 Super Bowls and appearances in 3 years. What, 4 years? 4 years, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good number for him. So
3.
Okay, so two out of the 3 years. I mean, he makes an appearance. I say that's pretty darn good if he can get there. Matt, I don't have anything major against OBJ. Maybe I don't like how he handled the situation leaving Cleveland, but it was never a system fit. So I don't have anything bad against this Rams team. I've been picking them the whole way through, and I've been picking against the 49ers. And, at this point with the 49ers, I don't know what to expect out of this team. I almost just want to keep picking against them because they keep surprising me. And I like being surprised at this point of the season because most of the time, you get to the playoffs and it seems pretty clear cut. At least it did last year. You had the Chiefs and Tom Brady. I mean, that seemed to be about as predictable as it could ever be going from preseason to the end of it. This playoffs, though, has given us nothing but surprises in the last 2-3 weeks. So, with that being said, I really like the Rams squad. I've been very high on them in the second, portion of the season. I mean, with Jared Goff gone, Stafford has really stepped up into that position. I mean, OBJ has had a pretty good resurgence back into a touchdown target. He was never a touchdown threat, it seemed, in Cleveland with that style of offense. They're just not built for that. And I really like what this Rams team is putting together. I mean, they have been undeniably dominant. I mean, they destroyed the Cardinals in the wild card 34-11. They took down the GOAT and Tom Brady in the second round. And, he had a great day. But the one thing that I think separates the 49ers from that Tampa Bay team, while the quarterback play might not be great, you got to keep in mind Jimmy G is the not descendant, but, he was the guy sitting backseat to Tom Brady for quite some time. He knows what it takes to win big games, and I think that's why he's so successful. It's because he sat around Brady so long.
And Belichick.
That winning mentality just kind of fell onto him. And I think the one thing that separates this team from Tampa, they can run the football. And that's something Leonard Fournette had 2 touchdowns, but just 13 carries and 51 yards. They threw it 54 times against this defense. San Francisco's not doing that. It's going to be a complete different style. So far, the Rams took on 2 pass-heavy teams in the Cardinals and the Buccaneers. Now they're going to go up against a squad who's more physical, likes the trenches, and wants to run the football. Whoever gets it. I mean, Debo's been going off recently, and they always seem to have somebody make that big step up that you just don't hear going into the playoffs. I mean, somebody wants that spotlight out there, and frankly, as much as you guys were going with San Francisco in this game, and as much as I've liked the Rams, I've been talking about destiny all year long. Whether it's been college football or high school football and basketball with Liberty now, I've been talking destiny, and something about this one is screaming destiny for San Francisco. I'm taking the 49ers as well.
Yeah. And you know what? I talked about the 3 guys that the Rams have on defense, Von Miller and all those guys. The 49ers have a huge guy on their offensive line, Trent Williams. And I think it was the Packers game, might have been the Cowboy game, but one of the 2 games they just played, when he pulls around for somebody and creates some of these open holes for the running backs, he just plows guys over. And it doesn't even matter who they are. So that's the key for San Francisco.
Use the big hefties. All right, let's go in here, sticking it into professional sports. We'll head to the NHL first here. The Minnesota Wild taking on the New York Rangers tonight, 8 p.m. game. Minnesota, the favorite going into this one, but it seems to be like it's going to be a pretty close game. I mean, these are two of the top teams we have in the NHL. Obviously, New York's been slipping down a little bit in the Metropolitan Division, but I mean, they're still right up there now, tied for first place with Carolina and Pittsburgh. And Minnesota, they're a couple games back now in the Central Division. They definitely had a couple slip-ups. What do you guys think as really are experts here of the NHL? I just pretty much run out numbers and then make a lot guess.
Darn right I'm the expert, and you remember that. But Minnesota Wild, they have a team. I like watching them, but the Rangers, I mean, yes, they've been slipping. They have. But, I mean, that shows you how competitive that Metropolitan Division is. If you slip up, someone's going to be right there. I mean, we have a three-way tie for first right now, like you just said, Alek. I mean, they're a bunch of tough teams right there. I mean, you could take a coin toss, and that's how you're going to decide the winner of this division. They're tough teams right there, and Washington's not too far behind either. Yeah, even Washington, they're 5 points behind too. You know, I don't care for them that much, but I mean, you know why I don't care for you know why I don't care for them? Because they're good. They're dominant. They always press my team. That's why I don't like them. You know, I like the Kraken and the Coyotes because they're bad. If they were good, be like, oh, screw them. I was saying some words last night. One Pens lost to the Kraken, but we're talking Minnesota Wild, so let's stick with the Wild.
Can we say real quick, the Kraken have had a few games here that they've started winning. I think they're finally
won a couple games.
They've at least been competitive.
I mean, yeah, they've been competitive. I mean, I don't think they're going to make any sort of big run on the season, but they've actually been, challenging teams the later into the season we get.
They have.
We're what, past the halfway point now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like Jordan Eberle, and I like Jared McCann on that team. They're fast. If you add a couple more guys in there with them, more young guys, they're going to be a team here maybe next year or the year after that. They have to get some more younger guys that can skate. Yeah,
maybe not the level of the Penguins or anything, but I mean, I think there'll be a solid team like Columbus. Always middle of the pack, sometimes making a playoff stretch and having a good season here and there. I don't think they're going to be the level of the Golden Knights because that was a crazy situation that happened with them. I'm going to take the Rangers in this game. I like what they've been doing. We talked a lot about the Metropolitan Division on this show. So with everything you guys have been saying, to me, it feels really hard to pick against this division because they got three of the potentially most talented teams in the NHL playing for them. So Minnesota, I think they're having a little bit of a slip up now, but I like the Rangers to bounce back off that loss to my Columbus Blue Jackets last night, 5-3. So yeah, that's where I'm going. I take the Rangers to bounce it back. I don't think they're a team that loses 2 in a row.
No, I gotta go Rangers here too. They're just a difficult team. They are. Minnesota may pull something out. I hope they do, because if Pittsburgh wins tonight, then we're in first. Yeah, so it's helping my team out. So I'm rooting for Minnesota, but I mean, I got to go Rangers. I got to pick the Rangers. They're a heck of a team.
Yeah. If I'm not going to have any parity here. I'm going to go Rangers too. It's just, I agree with you about the Met, Alek. I think it's just like, all these teams are beating up on each other. They're all making runs. They're all doing what they need to be doing. I just think the Rangers, again, going up against this conference, especially this division. Matt, stop. I don't even know what I was saying now. I forget. Just give me the Rangers.
Yeah, take the Rangers like everybody else.
All right, going into the NBA before Matt causes more problems on the show. Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm not spilling nothing. Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder, one of the worst matchups, but we haven't really got a chance to talk about either one of these teams very much. I mean, for obvious reasons. They're both kind of sucking. Going pretty much bottom of
They're just underachieving. They don't stink.
Well, I mean, they're underachieving a dumpster fire. So
the Thunder, they're underachieving. Come on, they just suck.
I'm just trying to make it look better, okay?
Hey, look, they both have some great players. I mean, you can't deny Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Domantas Sabonis are fantastic athletes, but clearly they're not franchise guys because they don't impact the win category. It's kind of the same situation LeBron's getting into now with the Lakers. He's putting up fantastic numbers, but it's not translating to wins anymore. It's the same thing we've said about Russell Westbrook the last few seasons, about James Harden. they're great players. You can't deny that. But at this point in their careers, they're not impacting the win category. And to me, these are both two teams that need to rebuild. I mean, Indiana felt like, they've kind of we're coming back with Sabonis as their main guy. And obviously he's out tonight is what it looks like here for this game. So I think they're in a rebuilding phase once again. They need to get back to it. Obviously, the Thunder made all sorts of moves to start their rebuild this past season or two. So, I mean, they're going to underachieve for a while. You know that. But come 3-4 years down the line, I don't have any problem seeing either one of these teams going back to the playoffs, making a solid run. I don't know about Eastern Conference Finals with the level of talent right now playing in the Eastern Conference, but they're both very talented squads. And, obviously Western Conference as well over there for Oklahoma City. There's so much talent at the top of that. I think they can probably find an 8 seed or a 7 seed, or even with the extended play-in tournament, they definitely have a shot somewhere to get into that playoff at some point. But it's been 5 straight losses or more right now for this Oklahoma, 6 straight for Oklahoma City. I think I give it to the Pacers here. They've been bad on the road, but Oklahoma City hasn't been good at home. So even with Sabonis out, actually, I'll say since Sabonis is out, I don't really think Indiana has anybody that can score. I'll go Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just to defend home court here. I got the Thunder.
I'm looking at Indiana's injuries. Sorry.
It looks like just Sabonis is out.
TJ Warren's out too.
Playing, right? Levert's still playing.
And Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, they got nobody. Thunder all the way.
I'm going to rule Indiana here.
You know what? I plan this show on Sunday if they have a lot more people playing.
I'm going to rule Indiana here. I got to go Pacers.
Pacers despite the injuries? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not been good on picks recently, so don't rely on me if you're betting anybody. I have been terrible as of late. So
I just like Indiana.
Well, let's go through here. Final 6-7 minutes of the show. We got some college basketball to get into. Rapid fire pick here on the first one. Mississippi State against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I got the Red Raiders taking this game.
Red Raiders.
Double T, Texas Tech.
Love to
double technical.
Yeah, next game up, Tennessee and Texas. I really think this is a great game. I mean, Tennessee's kind of been going on a downward slide. Texas has been coming up. They're 12-1 at home. Texas is probably 1 win away now from being into the top 25. Coming off big wins against TCU. I got them again in this one. I really like what they've been putting together. Despite the fact they don't really have a main scorer, they feel very balanced, and they've been finding ways to win. So I got Texas.
I'm going to go Longhorns as well here. I like what they've been doing. I'm not too high on them, but they've been winning some games, and Tennessee's just on their way out, I think. So I got to go Texas.
I like both these teams, but I'll roll Tennessee. I've been saying I like them, so I'll roll Tennessee.
Next one is an obvious pick for me, but the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Purdue Boilermakers on Sunday. A 12 p.m. game should be awesome. But, you've seen a couple slip-ups from Purdue. Ohio State, they picked up a huge win against Minnesota. I'm taking my Buckeyes, even though this one's in West Lafayette. Ohio State has obviously struggled there in football and basketball before, but I like my Buckeyes.
Alek, you're gonna think I'm picking Purdue just because I don't like Ohio State. I'm just picking Purdue because I've been hyping them up all year. If it was reversed, I'd go with Ohio State too. But I've been high on Purdue. So
hey, I got no problem with Purdue right now. I mean, they're 17-3. They deserve getting picked here in that game because they're the highest.
I've been saying I like them.
Phenomenal. They have 3 great scorers. I mean, they're a very solid team, and they're probably one I have in the Final Four this season already. So, yeah, I got no problem with you taking them. I know this pick isn't against Ohio State.
I've just been saying I've liked them all year, so I'm not going to fall off.
Right.
So,
Matt, Buckeyes or Purdue? Who you going?
Oh, man.
Buckeyes or Boilermakers?
Give me the Buckeyes, man. Go Buckeyes.
Okay.
I roll Buckeyes.
He did it.
I like upset. Purdue can be upset.
Okay, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Will you take another one here? I'm not. James Davis is the top 5 player in the league. I got Wisconsin.
Badgers.
Final game here, Matt. You'll like this one. It's Loyola Chicago going up against the Drake Bulldogs for the top spot in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Drake is a good
potentially
team.
on the line here. What?
Drake is always a solid team. They go back and forth all year long. So this is going to be a tough game
Drake
for
is
the Ramblers.
15-6, Loyola 16-3. Matt, I think we know that you're taking Loyola. You got to roll with your squad. I was trying to find a place to put them on here. I finally found a spot for them this week. So, there you go. What do you got?
I got You're my Ramblers.
I'm gonna go against Matt.
Oh, man, screw you.
You're gonna go Drake on this one.
Yep.
I like their new head coach in there.
Drake has definitely got a chance right now. To me, I mean, back-to-back games for Drake. I think they'll be a little sluggish going into this one. They'll get, a couple of days off here. I mean, about 4, so they should be back in it. You just wonder about a little bit of rust. The defense, though, for Loyola, they're a lot better than Drake's, and I think that's concerning going into this game because they both can score the same amount, but I like this defense a little bit better for Loyola, and they pass it a lot better. I mean, there's a differential right now of 3.5 assists in the plus category towards Loyola, and they allow 5 less points per game. I think they just got a little bit more than this Drake squad. I think it'll be close. I got no problem saying that this one will come down to a buzzer beater shot. Loyola loves those tight games, but I got Loyola in this game, Matt. I like that Ramblers team just as much as you do.
I like what Drew Valentine has done to this team in his first year, and that's Denzel Valentine's brother. And I like that. I like what he's been doing in his first year.
All right, well, let's finish out the show here with this week's highlights of the week. Matt, I know you got a pretty good one here. Why don't you give it to us?
Yeah, it definitely got to be my my former high school Badger Braves taking on the Lordstown in the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. I mean, Badger picked up the win. It was a pretty solid win. Jack Lendeck is going for his 1,000th point tonight, too, so he's 9 points away, so hopefully he can pick that up. Too bad I won't be there, but that's my highlight of the week. It was cool going there and calling them.
Mike, what do you got?
You guys know I got to stay with the Cavs getting a big win Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah. I told you he was going to go with that.
I have to. I mean, how do you not? How does not one of us mention it? They're third place in the East right now.
It's great.
Yeah.
Great what the Cavs do. Mine actually goes to the guy I've been hyping up all week, Evan McPherson. I mean, I still can't get over calling your shot before going drilling a massive field goal like that to win the game for Cincinnati. So I know this was last weekend, but, it's still part of this last week. I've been talking a lot of NFL here as they wrap up the season, but I got to go Evan McPherson still. He's still a baller.
Literally.
So, Matt, I guess this leaves your part
ready.
here. This week's meat head of the week.
All right, so honorable mention and the NBA snubs. They picked. I mean, Andrew Wiggins not a bad player, but really you start him over Chris Paul. I mean, come on, man.
Or
come
Devin
on.
Booker.
Yeah. That's horrible. Or Draymond Green too. But really, come on.
Yeah, I mean, Trae Young also in the East Conference on one of the really worst teams out there, and he's getting a start. He's had great numbers, don't get me wrong, but I think at some point when you talk all-star stuff, it does translate into really how are you making a team successful? I know it's fan voting and Trae Young's very popular, but who's our official meathead of the week this week?
So her name is, where the heck is it? Brittany Matthews. This is who is the meathead of the week. You know who this is?
No,
this is Patrick Mahomes' fiance. Spraying that champagne everywhere. Come on.
What's her name again?
What are you thinking?
Brittany Matthews.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm pretty sure.
All
yeah,
right.
Brittany Matthews.
Well, that is going to do it here for the Casual Sports Podcast, Week 20 in 2 years down for us. Guys, it's been a great ride and a lot more to come. Power Hour up next on YSNLive.com. You can check me out tonight, 5:30, Liberty High School. Girls and boys getting into the action tonight. I will see you all later tonight, and we will see you all next week. Peace out.